until 7 p.m. this evening. Tornado watch 54 in effect until 10 p.m. this evening. Rest of this afternoon, showers and thunderstorms. Some thunderstorms may be severe. Breezy with highs in the lower 70s. South winds 20 to 25 miles an hour with wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour are possible. Chance of rain near 100%. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms in the evening. Some thunderstorms may be severe. Cooler. Less humid with lows in the upper 40s. South winds 10 to 20 miles an hour, becoming southwest 10 to 15 miles an hour after midnight. Gusts up to 30 miles an hour in the evening. Chance of rain 90%. The current time is 3:44 p.m. Central Daylight Time. You're listening to NOAA, All Hazards Radio, the voice of the National Weather Service, station KEC 55. Serving the Dallas-Fort Worth listening area. The National Weather Service in Fort Worth has issued a tornado warning for north central Erath County in north central Texas, northwestern Parker County in north central Texas, southeastern Palo Pinto County in north central Texas, until 4:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 3:35 p.m. Central Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Gordon, or 21 miles north of Stephenville, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado and ping-pong ball-size hail. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near. Cool around 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Mineral Wells and Mineral Wells State Park around 4:05 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Other locations impacted by this tornadic thunderstorm include Millsap. This includes Interstate 20 between mile markers 366 and 399. Take cover now. Move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Now let's check on your local forecast for the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Wind advisory in effect until 7 p.m. this evening.
All right, welcome everyone to the stream this evening. We are currently looking at a potential tornado on the ground southwest of Jacksboro, Texas. Right now, we do have a moderate risk of severe weather issued by the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center, and this is the day that you want to be paying attention to. Similar to tomorrow, we have a 15% hatched risk of tornado activity. That's a tornado risk, so you really want to be paying attention to this. This isn't your normal severe weather risk. This is something you want to be paying attention to. So what we're looking at right now is just southwest of Jacksboro. This is headed right for Jacksboro right now. It looks like we might have a little debris signature on the ground there. We have a good enough rotation for that to be possible. If you look here, it's a bit of messy rotation there, but we do see that we have rotation here just east of Bryson and southwest of Jacksboro with this supercell. Fairly good rotation. We can kind of identify where that velocity couplet is. Again, it's kind of weak to identify there, but this is definitely rotation here, and you want to be paying attention to this. If we currently look here, we can currently see, if we check our correlation coefficient again, we definitely saw something there just a second ago. We saw a little bit of lowering on the scale, which indicates some larger objects in the atmosphere. You can see that we are starting to lighten up there. Again, this is all wide open area. This is all farmland, and there's little residential areas that they're all spaced out widely. So right now we might have a little farmstead or something that may have just been hit with a possible tornado, and that's what we could have seen. But right now, it may have moved back over the field, and all we're seeing is corn plants and other small crops that we see in the correlation coefficient. We really don't see much going on here. So at the moment, nothing that we can really tell at the moment. Let's take the look at reflectivity, and definitely a high precipitation storm mode. We really don't see any well-defined inflow. This is the type of storm that will easily end itself really quickly if it doesn't get its inflow back on itself. But then again, these storms always bring ourselves back. If you've been watching me for a while now, you'll know that every time we give a little advisory that a storm might end up ending itself because it cuts off its inflow, it always has that chance to bring itself back. And 95% of the time, it does end up redeeming itself and bringing that inflow back. So we have to keep an eye here. Right now it's raining. It's becoming more outflow dominant, but right now we could see that potential for itself to bring itself back. And right now this rotation is definitely intensifying. If you look here, again, southwest of Jacksboro, if you are in Jacksboro, you need to be taking shelter. This tornado warning expires in 10 minutes now. We have up to 1 inch in hail possible, 1 inch in diameter. That is what we're looking at right now. If we take a look at our mean estimated hail size here, we can see kind of what we're looking at in potential hail size. So right now, we have about almost up to 1 inch, as you see, 0.9 inches there. That would be close to golf ball sized hail there. So if you kind of picture that, if you make about an inch in diameter, that's pretty much close to golf ball sized hail there. That's fairly large hail, folks. You don't want to be messing around with that. That's fairly large hail. You don't want to be outside and driving in that. Luckily for everyone here, this is mostly all back roads, so you don't really need to be worrying about that. But if anybody is out in these areas and you know that they're driving anywhere between Bryson and Jacksboro, Texas, you need to be letting them know to get to where they're going and make sure they don't drive through this area right here, this area of high precipitation. This is the area where that hail is, and you really don't want to be messing around with that. Let's head back to correlation coefficient. You can kind of see where the hail is, but right here, right down below the rotation, we might see a little bit of lofted debris there if it does end up hitting something. Again, we weren't really sure if we have a tornado on the ground, but today is the type of day where tornadoes can quickly form, and if we have to monitor the storm to our south too, because even though it's fairly weak in rotation right now, this still could easily drop a tornado of itself too, so we have to keep an eye on both of these storms here. This is the day that you want to be paying attention to. This is the type of day where things can get out of hand pretty quickly. Not to scare anybody, but this definitely is one of those days, and we're not going to say it. We're not going to put it, sugarcoat it. This is the type of day that you need to be watching out for, folks, and you need to be weather aware today so that you and everyone else can remain safe. So make sure that you are weather aware. Make sure if you do not have critical alerts turned on your cell phone, if you do not have the emergency alerts turned on your cell phone, I want you to do that right now. You need to go into your cell phone settings. You need to go down to notifications and scroll all the way to the bottom if you're on iOS and turn on emergency alerts. And that would be perfect because that's going to give you those warnings that you need, those vital warnings, such as the one we see here on the pink flashing box here, the tornado warning. That will be sent to your phone, and all of the information that you need will be sent right to your phone by the National Weather Service. So that's what I want you to do right now. That's your assignment if you are in this area in eastern Texas today. If you're in anywhere here, that doesn't mean that if you're in this storm's path right now, we're not just talking about those people. Anywhere in eastern Texas today, anywhere within this tornado watch, and anywhere tomorrow within Mississippi and Louisiana, I want everybody to do that right now and turn on emergency alerts. Make sure that you have those on so that you will be prepared for tomorrow. Now, to our south right now, if we head down here, down to just south of Mineral Wells, Texas, we have a bit of increased rotation on here. This is starting to pull itself together, and that's starting to be a little bit concerning. This is headed in between Millsap and Mineral Wells, and this is headed kind of right for the Cole, Texas area, so the town of Cole, Texas. And this also looks to be pretty high precipitation as well. We're starting to see some of those pinks on reflectivity right now, and it definitely is raining itself very heavy right now. We see some possible larger hail within there. If we go to our mean estimated hail size here, we have about half an inch of hail up to 0.6 inches of estimated hail size there. Definitely not something you want to be messing around with. That is on the lighter side, but still keep in mind, half an inch in diameter. If you make that in circumference, you can see it's kind of hard to interpret what I could compare that to, but that's close to quarter sized. If you were to kind of make that's close to about a quarter there, or maybe about dime sized is more penny or dime right there. You can see that that's kind of what you're looking at. But up here, we just had about golf ball size hail just southwest of the Jacksboro on the estimated hail size here. We aren't really getting any hail reports, but let's see here. If we turn on hail reports here, hail detection, hail probability 100%, severe hail probability 90%, and that hail probability just expired, but it said about up to 1.75 inches. Now it's down to 3/4 of an inch, 0.75 inches. So we really don't have to focus on the hail right now. That's not our main focus. It's the tornadic properties of this storm. And right now, we don't really see too much going on with it. It is starting to become, it still has very strong rotation on it, but that's not really much of the concern right now. We really don't see too much going on with this. There's really not enough inflow. I do believe that this is going to kind of stay where it is right now. I don't really think it's going to dissipate just yet, but I also don't think its strengthening is going to happen just yet if it does have strengthening. So we really don't see too much inflow going on with this storm. This is definitely a high precipitation storm mode. If we head south of Mineral Wells, as you can hear in the background, the hazard is tornado with ping pong ball-sized hail. So that gives you a better estimation than I could ever give. So hail probability, 100%. Severe hail probability is 40%. And the size is 0.75 inches, 3/4 of an inch. So about ping pong sized hail is possible. A little bit more than what they're estimating on the radar here. But this is definitely headed just west of Millsap. You still will be included in some of that heavy precipitation, Millsap. Some moderate precipitation here, a band right there, but you could still be affected by these outflow winds, is what I'm saying there. These outflow winds from the storm, since it's so flat, those outflow winds can stretch pretty far, and you could get a little bit of outflow wind and rain from that as well. So let's take a look at our downdraft gust potential on these two storms. And Velocity Radar does a good job of that, but we're going to check our downdraft gust potential that has been estimated by the radar. And we're looking at about 60, 62 mile per hour wind gusts on this northern one, just east of Bryson, and just west of Jacksboro. That's about where you're going to kind of have that strong forward flank downdraft. And then down here to the south, we have about 50 to close to 60 mile per hour wind gusts in that forward flank downdraft as well. We really have a very strong downdraft going on in both of these storms right here, so you want to be paying attention to that. Something I want to take a look at real quick is those enhanced echotops. This is really where the top of the cloud is, and the taller the cloud, that really the more intense downdraft we're going to have. So here we have about 41,000 feet. That's about where even the private jets kind of stop to fly around. So we see usually about 45,000 feet is kind of where planes stop to fly in the atmosphere, if that kind of gives you a perspective. The average plane flies about 37,000 feet, so this cloud top is 35,000 feet. That's the top of the cloud. So these clouds are stretching up higher, and a higher cloud top is definitely not something you want to mess around with. So what I want to do right now is I want to stay on this northern storm because we could see the potential for this to kind of, if something is not already dropped already, this is headed right for Jacksboro. This one to the south is kind of staying out of any suburban areas, any towns. So we don't really need to worry about that, but we want to worry about this one for Jacksboro here because it is about to pass over. So let's zoom in on this right now. If you know anybody in Jacksboro, anybody on the stream, if you know anybody in Jacksboro, make sure to let them know because this is right over top of them right now. We are currently looking at 57 mile per hour wind gusts incoming into this rotation and about 63 miles per hour outgoing. So we have strong rotation here. Correlation coefficient right over Jacksboro right now. Good, we do not see any debris as of right now. That is a good thing. But this is definitely a strong system moving just north now of Jacksboro. We see that rotation, 60 mile per hour wind gusts incoming and about 20 or so outgoing. Over here to the south and southwest end, we see about 50, 60 mile per hour wind gusts incoming. So we have a lot of rotation going on with this system right now. Definitely something you want to be paying attention to. Our main velocity couplet down here is right down just northwest of Jacksboro, and this is where that main rotation is at the moment, and that's where we want to be paying attention to. Let's take a look at the storm path here, the main mesocyclone storm path. Now, as you see, it broadens out as it gets with further length and further distance because there's kind of harder trajectory to predict, but Bowie, Texas, you could be in the path of this as well, so make sure, especially in the rain bands of this as well, the forward flank downdraft, you could be in some hail as well, so please keep that in mind. You are not in a tornado warning yet as far as we can tell. You are currently in a tornado watch, number 54 for the year, and here are your threats, your potential threats. Max hail threat is 3 inches in diameter. Max wind gust threat is 75 miles per hour. And max tops is about 45,000 feet, which we were talking about earlier. That is fairly high for the possible threat there. Storm motion northeast, 60 degrees at 40 miles per hour. Particularly dangerous situation, that is a no. So there is no particularly dangerous situation at this time, but you are under a tornado watch. So let's make sure that you are preparing and staying weather aware. That doesn't mean you have to take shelter. That means that you have to plan around this now. This is now for you, and you have to plan your day around this now and make sure that you are prepared in the case that this were to come your way. So again, let's hope it does not, but we have to keep that in mind that it could potentially come your way. So let's keep ourselves weather aware here. To the east of Jacksboro, northeast, we have Chico. And Chico, Texas, you are kind of in the path of this as well. You're more on the on the southern end of this storm whenever it passes north of you. But as you can see, you will be getting those rain bands. And any updraft base here today, any updraft base that forms within this line will likely have rotation on it, and it does have a very good potential to form a tornadoes today. So keep that in mind. Now, what I want to do real quick, since we're kind of off of the tornado topic right now, since we don't really have anything too significant going on, I want to show you where the main area today is going to be. So significant tornado, let's turn this on here. And this little area up here, this little box here, this is where you want to be watching it today the most. Anywhere in eastern Texas today can get this, but today this is where you want to watch out for. This is your significant tornado box. This is where the National Weather Service is saying it's possible for long track and large tornadoes today. So this is your area you want to be paying attention to. This box that I have up here, the one with the purple and the gray flashing right now, that is where you want to be making sure that you're prepared. We have Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas, Bryan, Texas, Waco, Texas, Dallas, Texas, and Tyler, Texas, and just west of Shreveport, Louisiana. So make sure that you are preparing for that today. Have a plan overnight. Make sure you have a NOAA weather radio ready, or make sure you even have the news station on overnight if you can, so that in case that you hear any EAS tones, emergency tones, that you understand what is going on, so that you have those updates, and make sure that you have those emergency alerts on just in the case that anything were to happen. I want to make sure that everybody is prepared tonight, so we don't have any potential injuries or fatalities tonight. So let's make sure that we stay smart and do everything that we're supposed to be doing tonight to make sure that we stay safe. So we're going to turn that off now. And that's really what we're looking at for today, folks. Let's head back up here. And this is definitely still concerning right now, north of the Jacksboro area. If we head back to